What a wonderful day. You are tuned in to All Jokes Aside with yours truly, Jay Martin, the Renaissance Man. And as you can see, I have the biggest, most popular, iconic guest in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you none other than the icon himself, Mr. Ben Johnson. How are you, my friend?
Thank you very much to invite me here.
Listen, this is an honor to be here. And I think based on who you are and what you've done, you must get this all the time, don't?
All the time, yeah.
Like everywhere you go, I can imagine this has been years. It's been a lifetime of all you've done. And it's everywhere you go. And I've been places where you are, and it's like they whisper. They start off and they go, Ben's in the building. Ben's in the building. And how is it when you're in a public place? How do they kind of approach you?
People come and shake my hand and smile and say, great run. I remember where I was. And so, all different kind of thing. It's all good, what people expectation is and
yes,
how you feel about people approaching you and everything like that. So it's nice.
It must have took getting used to, though, because as your demeanor, and I studied it, it was more quiet, within yourself, and now the whole world, everybody in the world knows who you are. How did that take on a toll with you?
I'm a more reserved guy.
Yes.
I'm very shy. I'm very quiet.
Yeah.
And if people doesn't know me very well, they say that, oh, he's stuck up, or he doesn't, No, I'm not like that. I'm just very quiet.
Yes.
And if people talk to me, they will see a different side of me.
They do. Well, let's start from the beginning, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay, so when it all first started, you started sprinting. When did you know that you were ready to compete on an elite level? Like when in your age would you nail that you're like, hey, I know I'm fast when I first started, but on an elite level, when did you know that you could compete?
Well, I believe when I was about 14 years old, when I just came up to Canada from Jamaica, I was about 14 years old. But I was competing in track and field in my high school.
Okay.
And I know I was pretty fast, but as a young boy, I didn't know that was my destiny and this is what I want to be or become.
Right.
But as I go along through my high school years and meeting my coach, Charlie, at the time, and I said to myself, well, I think I find what I want to do and what my journey is and where am I be in this lifetime. So as a young boy, I decided this is my destiny. This is running.
So running in Jamaica, for those who know, we are the fastest people in the world. Records have shown that. Explain to us how the training was in Jamaica when you first started running. And I know you're from Falmouth. My family's from Trelawney, Trelawney. They would have to, everyone as I know in Jamaica would run track, and then the goal was to get to champs. Explain to me how training was for you in Jamaica.
Well, in Jamaica, I didn't really train in Jamaica. I was just with friends on the street, running around on the streets, running from light post to light post and see who was the fastest, even though I was one of the youngest, one out of my friends.
Yes.
They were much older than me and more developed than me. So I was maybe a meter and a half behind them, which is not very bad for a young guy. Yeah. For a young guy.
Yeah.
So, it's quite interesting that is when I came from Jamaica to Canada in 1976, April 29.
Wow.
I met my coach, Charlie Francis, and my brother said, where you get those ribbon from? I said, I won them at track meet. Then he goes, how fast do you run? I said, 11 flat and 23 flat for the 200.
Wow.
And he goes, wow, that's pretty good for your age.
Yes.
And then he was doing some homework and he goes to me, do you want to come to my track club? As a young boy, I said, yeah, track club, man, that's big,
Yeah.
Track club, right?
Right.
So I said, yeah. So he took me down to see Charlie Francis, which was his coach.
Right.
And becomes my coach later on. And he said to me, I heard that you can run. You're pretty fast.
Right. So when you met this track coach and you run pretty fast, were other track coaches kind of looking in to see who's this guy, who's the next best thing?
No, most people started looking on later on.
Okay.
Once I started getting developed and started getting more weight on and running much faster.
You know what's funny? People tend to draw to people when they're doing well. And in those days when they were drawing to you, how were you able to differentiate loyalty in where you were as opposed to maybe going to another club or other people that come to make offers?
Maybe it's a gift. Maybe I just block it out of my head and just do what I need to do and do things what I love and just focus and just keep, training hard and keep improving and see where it's going to take me.
True. So Tramps is big. right now. A lot of the runners there, I watch champs, they in Jamaica, they're getting some really fast kids. How do you attribute to the fact that the speed seems to be getting faster and faster every year with these kids? Do you think it's something evolved in their genes or just the art form? What can you attribute from your knowledge, because you have all the knowledge, on why these kids seem to be getting faster?
Well, number one, there's not much thing to do in Jamaica. That's number one. They see a way of doing track and field, and this is a way out. They're very, focused on what they want to do and what they want to achieve. They got good coaches down there.
Yep.
They say that, by me running fast and be on social media and see all these athletes traveling over the world and making so much money, and they want to be a part of it. And I think that also give them that push. But it's not everybody that go to champs becomes a rolling on sprinters. Some will make it, and some will just veer off and go and do something else.
You said something very intriguing. They saw you, or their parents saw you, or people saw you, what you did as an example. And we know the long line of the amazing sprinters, runners in track and field that have come out of that little island. Do you, and I know you're humble, do you not consider yourself one of the forefathers of allowing people to have that vision to look for the future?
I believe that being on the top of the mountain at that time, that a lot of kids in high school and in college in Jamaica look up to me and want to be like Ben Johnson on run fast. And I think that I give a lot of people a lot of inspiration over the years and continue to doing so. And despite of what happened into my career, it's still a great thing for these young athletes to want to be a great sprinter in the future.
Around the office here, we had a couple people ask people, Ben Johnson, one word. Ben Johnson, one word. We did this around the office before you came. And I'd be surprised what you think is the one word. And I'll tell you what the word was synonymous with everybody here. But what would you think would be the one word that anyone would describe Ben Johnson as?
People got great love for me.
Yeah. Do you know what the word was? They all said iconic. Iconic. And iconic is such a big word. People say living legend, iconic. And I'm not here to gas you or make you feel that way, but when was the moment that you realized that you became iconic? Like, you're in the trenches, you're training, you're going against that guy, you're going against everybody in the world, everyone is watching. When was that time? Because usually people don't remember who came third or who came fourth. Fourth place people don't usually become iconic. When was the moment that you're like, holy, I've become iconic? When did it come a realization to you?
I would say around early summer of 1985. That's where I break on the scene.
Right.
And people started to recognize, oh, this guy is
Yes.
good, he's fast. It's different. What the blocks,
Okay, so now I know, because I've done my research, what is Ben doing now? Like, everyone wants to know, what is Ben doing now?
Ben just finished a 6-series TV show called Hate the Player.
Yes.
Played by Shamir Anderson. He's also involved in a lot of movies like John Wick 4 and many other movies, and Karen Robinson, who plays my mom, also in Law and Order and stuff like that. So they really do a really good job on this, and people who believe in my story, believe in me, take this on and make it a reality.
Yes.
And a lot of people who saw the film, they love it. There's a joke about it. And
I love
there's
it.
some sad part about it, but people enjoy it. And every time I saw people knows me and they watch it, they say, Ben, it's great. This guy do a good job. I say, yes. Anthony Farewell do a good job on the script and everything.
So I'm gonna dive into that, because that's my world. I've seen some comedic satires, some favorite comedians, some world knowledgeable comedians, Canadian comedians, as well as actors. I saw the piece of work, and at first I thought it was like a direct movie, but then I was seeing the jokes that were involved with it. Why humor on a toll to describe your past? Because I'm a comedian. I want to know why the choice of humor to get the story across to many people. You thought it was easier for them to take in. Why?
I think Anthony Farewell decided it should be a comedy because based on the facts and some of the things that happened, on my point of view,
Seem unbelievable.
I think if it was too serious, a lot of people wouldn't watch it.
Right.
So it put it, and his background from his writers, he do a lot of script writers on comedy and stuff like that.
Right.
So it was the best thing for him to do, to go that route, and it was a great move.
How involved were you in that process of what goes? I know you've been involved because it's the story of your life. I mean, from mom sitting there down and feed you yama and all these different foods, all the different parts of it. Did they lean on you for some of the help in terms of the script writing and bringing that to pass?
I spent about at least 4 hours with about 13, 14 people just making notes and asking a lot of questions. And
Right.
just give them lots of flesh on the bone, and they put it into this, and here we are.
And you are happy with what it turned out to
I'm
be?
very happy. And the reason why I didn't answer that question about the comedy part, I think my career and what happened to me, it's a complete joke.
Right.
And now I just put it into that way, and I just enjoy myself doing it and make a laugh and
Go from there.
go from there.
Also, with what Mr. Ben Johnson is doing, I know you're still involved with track and field. Can you tell us a little bit about that and your influence with coaching and what's going on with that?
I still do some coaching in track and field, private coaching, because I cannot coach internationally because
Okay.
of the suspension and
the ban,
and the lifetime ban, right? But this is how I make my living, by coaching, and they took that away from me.
Wow.
So now I'm coaching private. I have some good kids that's also going to States right now on a scholarship.
Good.
Doing very well. I coach a lot of athletes over the years who also doing very well, not only in track but in their everyday life. Get married, have kids. Good words of wisdom. I teach them and taught them proper things, and all of my girls and my guys, they're all doing good.
I love that. So you mentioned it briefly on the ban. Do you think that the media, how they portrayed everything, was fair or unfair?
It was unfair, what they did, and they believe that they know the story of Ben Johnson, and they didn't.
Right.
So I have to set the record straight once and for all, just to, my point of view, and they think that they were there. I was there.
You were there to see all of it.
I was there to see all of it.
You're the truth. You're the truth. So what does this entire, experience teach you in terms of lessons in handling pressure, success, and failure? What did it really teach you, if you think?
It teach a lot. It teach me how to. Well, I'm always humble, but it's also teach you fairness, and it's also teach you, it's also good to trust people, and it's also not good to trust people, because if you trust people, they can take you for everything you got. And in my life and my career, that happened to me. So
right.
So now I learn and I understand it, and I do things my way now, and whatever I do and I think and get it out there, it goes very, very smoothly.
I love
that. But if I bring somebody in,
then
everything goes sour.
See, that's the difference. You control your own destiny. You feel like you control it. But once someone else is involved, sometimes it turns it the other way.
Turns the other way. And this time in my life, I can't make any more mistakes.
No.
I'm 64 years old now. By the end of the year, I'm 65.
No way. Look at him, folks. That looks like 64 to 65 to you. The man looks cut. I need to come to your gym. How do you stay in shape so well?
Well, many years of my life being taken away from me. So now I trying to stay healthy as much as possible. Mm-hmm. And when everything turns around, I can live some more longer life to enjoy some of the good times.
Yeah, the fruits of your labor. Because, as older folks, we always sit back and say, in our time. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I really have a question. Do you think it's possible of modern athletes to separate performance from extreme pressure? Because you were under a lot of pressure prior to, during, and you still delivered. Do you think that the kids growing up today can handle the pressure?
No.
They're not built like that,
Never
right?
fall up within 4, 5, 6 months.
Yeah, the pressure.
Much less
Yeah.
8 years.
Yes. Because so now, even with my friends that coach basketball, they say you can't really coach as hard as they were coached. A lot of things that are different is they have an opportunity to train much more at their skill set than we did. I don't know how often you were in the gym.
You train these kids hard now,
Yes.
they don't show up. And they look at you funny like you're crazy or something.
Like, you see?
But it's not only these kids can benefit from training, but this is everyday life.
Right.
We're not expect you to be a world-class sprinter or world-class older or anything like that.
Right.
But this will help you through life to be
Has to.
punctual, to be
Right.
strong, to be focused, to be patient, and to be ascetic, all those things. It teaches you everything.
It does.
And
It
that's
does.
why track and field is the master of all sports.
It is. It is. No question. Because it teaches all of that. And it teaches teamwork, camaraderie, individualism. It teaches all of that. And
Loyalty, everything.
Loyalty. It teaches you all of that. So recommended. This is what people are doing, should be doing. What else has brought you? I know we discussed it briefly on the walk-in, your book. Tell us a little bit about your book.
Well, it's called The Incredible Life of Ben Johnson, the World's Fastest Man. And it's come the bestseller, I think, 2 or 3 times on Amazon Canada.
Nice.
And people can probably order the book on Amazon Canada or Indigo. They can go to the bookstore in Indigo and they can get it. But it's a great book. And some of the scenery from the book was in the movie.
Oh, good.
So it was pretty good. And I'm very happy about it. And I'm very thrilled that I can live to see this thing have come to pass in my life at this point in time.
So I'm going to go back to the roots, Jamaica. How often do you get to go back to Jamaica, and how are you received when you get back to the island?
Well, my friends in Falmouth, Jamaica, just receive me as just Ben.
Really?
They
So
don't.
it's
They don't treat me as the world's fastest man.
so when you reach
Which
it,
is-
just
which
like
is-
any other guy.
Any other guy,
Jamaica is something else,
which is I like that.
You like
I like
that.
that. I
You
like
like
that. Yeah,
Wagwan Ben.
Wagwan Ben.
Nothing out of the normal. No
I never
superstar.
said. I said Ben is here. Ben is here. Ben is here.
Yes.
And then we all hang out and
Yes.
and
And then
get
they
some
go to the
jokes,
bar, expect
get
you to
some
buy
jokes.
all the beer. They expect you to buy all of the red stripe. I'm like, listen. Jamaica know how high you get.
Don't know how you get.
You go to Jamaica, they're gonna say, so up.
They don't care. Yeah,
They don't care.
They don't care.
It is grown. I'm telling you, especially even as a comedian, and then people go, you go back home to Jamaica. I go back home to Jamaica. It is the hardest place to make people laugh.
Yeah.
When I go to Jamaica, and I meet up with all the other comedians who have done great jobs. Oliver Samuel's one of the greatest of all time.
Jamaican
keeps you real.
survive. Jamaican people can survive anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Anywhere you put them out there and they can survive.
Survive.
This is all we are. We're strong, mentally,
Resilient.
physically, emotionally, resilient, and we can survive. We can.
I'm telling you, I would love to go to Jamaica with Ben and see, and be like, hey, everybody, it's Ben. They might see Ben last week and buy me a beer. It's just all level vibes. We're in Canada. You told me the date. When you said April 21st, we're so close to that day. When you came here, what was your experience, man? You came off the plane, you walked through the door, Pearson. What was your first experience? It must have been shocking.
My first experience is when I walk off the plane through custom.
Yes.
The only person I want to see was my mother.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it.
Nobody else.
And she was here with
And
open arms.
I greet her and I hold her hand and say, Mom, I miss you so much.
Yeah.
We are all happy. Everything, my whole mood changed.
Yes.
My personality changed.
Yes.
Everything's changed.
Even when the cold weather catch you?
Even cold weather catch me. Well, coming here back in those days, it was sad leaving some of my friends back home.
Yes.
And it was kind of sad, but this is a path that I have to take and I have to take because my mother
Yeah.
sent for us. And I got here and, culture shock, snow and everything like that. And
Yeah.
it was cold and, it was just different.
Getting to
meet
used
new
to
friends,
everybody and meeting new
meet
friends.
new friends and everything like that. And
But over the years, we all do this. We acquire wisdom. And we have this opportunity sometimes to sit back. If you could ask young Ben, 1985 to 88, if you could tell him something that he would know that you know now, what would you tell him, a young Ben?
oh man, young Ben, I would say probably, you know, be focused on what you're doing and
Right.
don't to trust a lot of people and trying to take care of your own business and your own affair.
Right.
And make sure that you can invest what you make. So when you finish your career, you have money
To sit
or
back.
investment to sit down. And,
Yes.
and those things that I trying to do was taken away from me.
Right.
So I kind of figured out what they were doing, but they use the
closet
law
already, yeah.
and the track and field situation against me.
Right.
Yeah. So
Well, I'm going to wrap up only to say that I'm very honored to have you on this and you taking time out of your day to come to the podcast. All jokes aside, here on True Patriot Love. But before we leave, I just wanted to say to you that I'm honored to know you. I'm honored to know that you represent our country of Jamaica to the fullest. You, to me, was the first hero in Jamaican history. And I know they have Heroes Day with the real heroes in music, but I say in track and field and athletics. You personified some things that we've seen that we didn't think were human, like a man could do. So on behalf of all of our people from the island and the world of track and field, I would like to personally thank you on air for what you've done for us as Jamaicans, as Canadians, and for our country. I'll give you a round of applause.
thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
So anything before we go, you'd like them to know what's up next for you? Besides coming to my Mother's Day show happening on Mother's Day, I've got tickets for Ben and his family to come enjoy themselves. Anything else that you want anybody to know? Of course, check out the series.
I got some more project coming up,
Okay.
but I cannot say things at
got
this
you.
point. But it looks pretty good. And,
Good. So promise me that when they happen, you'll come back and let us know.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we got it locked right here with the greatest of all time, Mr. Ben Johnson in the building. Yours truly, J. Martin, the Renaissance Man. You keep it locked right here on True Patriot Love.
True Patriot Love. One love.